Welcome back, everyone. We're going to go over Star Trek Attackwing Independent Faction Pack, Adversaries of the Delta Quadrant. Just going to do a quick unboxing, go over the content, show you the ship models. If you were on Facebook and you saw my post previous before the release of these, we went through only half of the cards, so this time I'm going to show you all the cards, kind of give you some notes about them, go over their abilities real quick. But yeah, let's crack this thing open and see what's inside. Right. So we have one of our new starships, the new Miri Patrol ship, which is a reused sculpt from the Bajoran ship that we have in the game. Let's see if we can pull this one out without much difficulty. I doubt it though. Right, this is the Narada type, another new starship we have for the game. This is the front. It is a repaint of the Romulan science vessel, just like it is in the show. The Vidian battle cruiser. This is the front of the ship, by the way. WizKids got it right this time. And everyone's favorite, the Herosian warship. Love the paint job on this one. It's like this brass, bronzy color. It's real nice. Lots of reds on the inside there. Awesome to see this ship back. Cardboard elements. We got our dial tops, deck plates, captain tokens for Dala and Albin. Let's see if there's anything unique here. The Antari Shadow, which is the Miri Patrol ship, you can see is a 90-degree forward firing arc, no secondaries. It's a 4153, which we'll go over that more in detail. Next cardboard pieces are our bottom dial sections. We got Iden, we got several of the Vidians, we got Carr. Let's see, Vaadwaur Captain, the Narada type, you can see it is a 180-degree forward primary firing arc, no secondary arcs. It's a 3233, which we'll go over in more detail later. This one has the last of our captain tokens, more initiative tokens, more resource tokens for the campaign for Delta Quadrant. We have Star Trek tokens. Let's see, I believe this is the Omega Particle. This is the flower tokens, the Rika flowers. These are the Grappler Reminder tokens, and these are the permanent effect tokens for Dala, Kuros, and Yaset, for the Bounty specifically. And these are Borg Debris Field Obstacle tokens, which as you see here, that's for the campaign as well. Our usual stuff, bases, pegs, connector pegs. Cards, don't forget, like with the Lost in Delta Quadrant, the campaign book is on the bottom, so do not throw away your box without taking out your campaign book. This is standalone, as we talked about, and these are the rules video. You can have either one of these to run the campaign. It has all the rules for running it, but it has different stuff in it, especially sector conditions, compared to the Lost in the Delta Quadrant campaign. More specifically, it's meant as a companion to it. You utilize both books to make a greater Delta Quadrant campaign. On to the cards. All right, let's see what we have. Let's close this up. So our new ship that we're able to sneak into the game because, well, since CBS can repaint ships, so can we. We weren't sure if they'd approve, but they did. They like the creativity. So we have the Antari Shadow, which is a new Miri Patrol ship. This one is pretty fun. It's a nice big independent ship, but when attacking, roll attack dice step. If the defending ship has a hull value less than this one, it gets +1 attack dice. It is a 4153. Battle stations, target lock, and evade token. Maybe I should show you the maneuver dial actually real quick. Again, this is 90 forward firing arc. This is the maneuver dial for the ship class. It has 4 and 5 combat bots, which are quite fun for a ship like this. Pretty easy maneuvering. This is the generic, by the way. The ship does have a unique tech upgrade just for it. That is in the pack, which we'll go over that when we get to it. The next new starship in the pack, the repainted science vessel, Narada type. This is the Narada itself. This is more of a swarm ship, but it is when attacking modified attack dice step, if the defending ship is in the primary firing arc of a friendly ship within range 1 of this ship, you get to add a hit. It is a 3/2/3/3. It has battle station scan and evade with a crew, weapon, and tech. This one has a forward primary firing arc of 180 degrees, and as a reminder, here is its maneuver dial. Now what's pretty unique about this ship is it is one of only 2 starships that have a come about on its dial, as well as a 180 degree forward primary firing arc, which I believe is the Komari, the Andorian starship, and the Kazon Raider are the only other ships like that. Here's the generic, it's a 3/2/3/2, 14 points. So this is a nice little swarm ship. It also has a unique weapon that you'll find in the ship, and we'll go over that when we get to it. The Vidian ships, the new one is the Hinata Prime. When attacking a modified attack dice step, you may re-roll, is it re-roll? No, convert 1 blank into 1 hit for every crew upgrade equipped to a target ship. They want the bodies, and if you've got them, they're going to get better quality. It helps very well when you're going to use a lot of their weapon upgrades or some of the weapon upgrades you have in here, or when you're just going after big Federation clown cars. It's a 3/2/5/3 standard Vidian battlecruiser. I think the only thing that is different is we give you 2 different generics this time. This one is crew double weapon, and the other generic in the pack associated with the Fina Prime, I believe, is double crew and a weapon, which you can see right there. But the Fina Prime, this is an errata to the original one. As action, place an auxiliary power token and target a ship within range 1 to 2. Destroy 1 shield on the target ship. The errata is the increased range. I believe the original one was only range 1. And of course the point reduction. Our new Hirozen warship is the Relic Stalker. Very nasty ship. After moving through range 1 to 3 of an enemy ship, you may place a battle stations token. It's a 4/2/3/4. Very chunky little starship. Hirozen ships are very popular within the community. This one will be no exception. Generic double tech weapon crew. The Alpha Hunter is a errated card. It is reprinted as a new point cost. Its ability is also cleaned up. It is now grants the full sensor echo instead of the sensor echo with the 1 templates. And on to the captains. So some captains that we went over, let's see, last time we were talking about them. This is a Nasari captain. This is Albin. He's associated with the Narada type. But you'll see right up here that in gold it says that is a Nasari captain. We did this with a lot of the factions that have multiple factions within the faction. Independent is like the big one for that. The big reason for that is future proofing, so we don't have to keep including like text. If you looked back at the Motley pack, the Vidian pack especially, will say like, this counts as a Vidian captain, this counts as a Vidian admiral, or on elite talents that we want to be restricted to those types of characters, we have to include it into the text. I believe like a lot of the ones for the Gorn card pack were like, this can only go on Sisolak and a Gorn captain. By changing the cards like this, we are now future-proofed it, so we can just say, hey, this is for a Nasari captain. And you know that that's what it is because it's going to be right there on its little bar. Albin's pretty unique though. He's a swarm type captain, so when this ship or a friendly ship within range 1 to 2 attacks, roll attack dice step. If the captain and or any crew upgrades equipped to the defending ship have any tokens on them, this could be anything. GPLT, drone, time tokens, disable tokens, mission tokens even, anything. The attacking ship rolls +1 attack dice. If this ship or that friendly ship is a Narada type, that ship may reroll 1 blank. So very good when you're swarming or you want to support the Naradas. Gaul is the 4-point skill 8 Vaadwaur captain. He punishes ships for taking sensor echoes or extra maneuvers by adding a crit when attacking. He is obviously made because we gave Romulans the Romulan cloaking device, and Voyager Pack has a lot of extra maneuver stuff and a lot of sensor echoing as well. Thematically, this represents that the Vaadwaurs did not like that people were using their subspace corridors. Those are for them. So you go in their corridors, you take those extra maneuvers, they're going to hunt you down. Oh boy, Dala. Dala, devastating. Skill 4 captain grants a crew slot and puts a permanent effect token on an opposing ship. Their permanent effect token is the reputation token. This one will make all ships in play count that ship as an enemy ship. This kind of stops a lot of handshaking effects. It can stop you from being able to use an admiral, but it does open up some interesting rules instances with, now that it's an enemy ship, you can trigger steal effects off of that ship. The ship is still a part of your fleet, you still have control over it, but you can open negotiations with yourself technically. You could be like, hey, the ambassador's on this ship, I'm going to target the ship that Dala targeted, and I'll open negotiations with myself. Works quite well with Neelix, because then you can just get the best effect for Neelix's negotiations accepted and just move your ships in tandem next to one another. But yeah, she can be quite obnoxious when you get your wombo combo-y handshake ship get slammed down with a bad reputation. Next we have Yusek. He is a Hazari captain. His ability is he just gives out the bounty permanent effect token, which you'll see on there. Ships that attack a target that has a bounty effect token, you may convert a battle stations or a blank into a hit. And he has skill 7. Dareth is a Vidian captain. He's 2 points for skill 3. If you performed a 3-speed or greater maneuver, target an opposing ship within range, disable a crew upgrade equipped to the ship. He works very well with a lot of the Vidian tactics, especially with their elite talent, Vidian Sodality. With that, you want to be discarding or disabling crew upgrades on enemy ships. This is how you gain the mission tokens, and you spend those mission tokens to prevent your captain and crew, especially independent, from being discarded, which a lot of the older Vidian stuff and some of the newer ones will discard themselves to trigger their effects. So you're essentially like gaining the body parts and organs and using them to keep the Vidians able to keep triggering their effects. Our other Vidian captain is Nadrium. Action. If equipped to a Vidian battlecruiser, this is a free action instead. Place 3 time tokens on this card and target a ship within range. Discard a crew upgrade equipped to the target ship. He's quite nasty. Obviously on Vidian battlecruisers, being able to take that as a free action can just stop your opponent's combos from crew. Helps against the Federation. The Federation loves stacking crew on their ships, especially Voyager. Next we have the errata to Carr, who is a Herosian captain. Now specifically Carr, he was like one of the top 5 captains for most of the competitive players and even a lot of the casual players. I'm sure you've heard a lot of channels talk about Carr before, or you yourself have played him. So the big errata is that we increase his point cost from 5 to 6 for balance sake. Because, I mean, he's skill 8, 2 elite talent slots, 2 abilities that are very easy to use. One being the +1 attack dice against ships that have lower captain skill than him, and the other one being that he gets to re-roll a dice twice. Like, this is just very good for a captain. But in addition to increasing his point cost, we did give him an admiral side. So Independent now have their first admiral. Independent, like straight up. And he's one of the rare admirals where he keeps both of his talent slots, even though he is on the admiral side. So he's got 2 effects going on. He's a +2 to the captain skill. As a fleet action, he will put a time token on a ship card within range 1. And what this does is, if you remember the USS Da Vinci from Ships of the Line, this turns off the ship abilities, so it becomes very good when you're going against highly defensive ships or ships with like problematic abilities, such as like the IKS Amar from the Kelvin pack, the USS Sutherland from the Fed versus Klingon starter pack, anything like that where you're like, I just cannot crack through the ship, or I don't want to get shot back randomly. You could use Car's ability to place a time token on them, turn off the ability. But in addition to that, when your ships attack any ships that, within range by the way, that have any time tokens on their ship card, they get to re-roll one of their dice twice. They get to reroll their dice, period. But if it is a Herosian battleship, they get to reroll the dice twice. So it's kind of like providing his captain ability to all friendly Herosian ships nearby. So Admiral Carr will select something to be the prey, essentially, and then the others will hunt them. Our last Herosian captain is Turange. He is an errata from his original one, although he did not originally have a captain's side. So for 4 points, you get a skill 7, and if he attacks something with higher captain skill than him, he adds a crit, which is quite nasty for a Herosian captain. But the big part of why he is errated is the backside, which he is a crew. He gained the first officer trait. Instead of granting the weapon slot like the original one did, he will grant a crew slot to keep him more in line with how a lot of the first officers are. Plus, Indy already had a lot of just grant weapon slots, but they didn't have a lot of like crew usability, but they have a lot of crew now. So we wanted to make sure it encapsulated that. This trigger, though, for first officer is different from Federation, where this is more in line with how his original card worded. So when he's attacking, he will kill the unique captain equipped to the ship to add a crit result, but then he will then flip over and take command of the ship as the captain. Last captain of the pack is Captain Iden, the evil hologram captain from Flesh and Blood. He is captain skill 10 for 10 points. You cannot have an admiral or ambassador equipped to the same ship that he's on, but he does get -1 cost for every independent question mark upgrade equipped to the ship. This is primarily going to be holograms found in this pack, and I think like Vig Fontaine, there are a few other independent question mark upgrades that are very good, like Captured, Gorn Ale, and Repurposed Cargo Hold. So these will all help reduce his cost. His primary ability, though, is when he's attacking, if the defending ship is either an independent ship or has a question mark upgrade of any kind attached to it, then you add a crit result, which this can be quite devastating when you're just like attacking people with these upgrades. Independent ships are quite popular. You have like Lawrence Bird of Prey. A lot of ships get captured nowadays because of Cal Hudson. But question mark upgrades are becoming very, very popular. And especially if you have not seen it or played it yet, Tea Earl Grey Hot from These Are the Voyages is a very good card. It has a lot of combo potential, a lot of usability, especially since it basically trades a token for 2 and removes a time token from another card. You can do a lot with that. So let's get to the crew. First up, we have some of the crew from Dala's ship, which this is Mobar. He was pretending to be Commander Tuvok. Now, Mobar and Zar work off of the permanent effect tokens. They get an effect static based off the enemy ship within range having an effect token, but then if the effect token is a reputation one, which is the one that Dala puts out, you get a different effect or an enhanced effect. In this case, Mobar says anybody who has effect tokens, permanent effect tokens, get -1 defense dice. But if it happens to be reputation, then when they would spend one of the tokens listed, instead of it going to the action token supply, that token gets placed beside your ship. Zar gives captains with permanent effect tokens within range -1 captain skill. But if it is the reputation one, they get -2. So while he was pretending to be Commander Chakotay, they are doing everything they can to maximize ripping people off in the Delta Quadrant and making Voyager look bad. Next up from Think Tank, we have Kuros. This is Jason Alexander's character. We wanted to do a lot of cool stuff with Think Tank, but there was a lot of characters that we needed to put in and hit a lot of different episodes, especially for an indie pack. So we focused on the primary one, which is Kuros, and we gave him a bunch of abilities that kind of mimic how he was. So as an action, you target an enemy ship within range, and then the opposing ship must choose one of the following, and they must make a choice that is a legal choice. So the first option is you give them a bounty permanent effect token if they do not already have one. This represents where he sicked the bounty hunters on Voyager. He's the one who made the Hazari trap. The second effect is he steals a scan, evade, or battle stations token from beside the ship and then places it beside his ship plus an evade token. This represents, you agreed to his terms, you gave him something from his list, but he knows best how to maximize it. So he's getting a better use out of it. Or he's being deceptive and trying to hide, and that's where the evade token comes in. And the last one is him trying to steal 7 of 9, which is he will steal a unique crew upgrade equipped to the target ship and equip it to this ship. Now that is only once per game, so once he has done that, you'll be restricted to the other 2 choices. And of course, if you already have a bounty permanent effect token, then he's always just going to be stealing a base token against that particular ship. Next up we have STAW, the pirate captain. He's from the planet where they were stealing everything, including the Voyager's computer core and the Da Vinci hologram. Now he has 2 effects. They're in order based off of timing within the terms, but it's a lot easier for me to go through the bottom one first. So it is start of the combat phase, target an opposing ship within range, steal either a scan, battle stations, evade, or auxiliary power token beside the target ship and place it on his card. Start of planning phase, target this ship or another ship within range, place a token on this card beside the target ship. So he'll steal basically anything and then place it next to something else. This is where it's like, I'll take Oxes off of my ships and then I'll place it on an enemy ship, or I'll take good tokens from your ships and I'll move it over to mine. Or if I want to take one off of a ship that just isn't going to get use out of it because it's start of combat phase. Maybe everything got out of the arc of your awesome ship that has battle stations next to it. Just scoop it off and save it for later. Why let it get wasted? We get 2 copies of Vidian Guard. Vidian Guard is a 1 per ship Vidian crew member, 2 points. The base effect is increase the captain skill of the Vidian captain equipped to the ship by 2. This is pretty good. It'll make Nadrium a 7, I believe, and it'll make Dareth up to a 5. The other effect is whenever an opposing ship within range 1 would remove a disabled token from one of their crew upgrades, discard this card. That disabled upgrade token cannot be removed this game round. This stops a lot of the combos, like people trying to do Phlox combo or anything where they remove the disabled tokens to trigger their other effects. But this works really well when you are trying to disable their stuff to get tokens on your Vidian sodality. And he has to discard, so you can just get rid of the mission token, keep it on board to keep your captain skill. So you get a lot of usability with this card. Last of the Vidian crew members is Sulan. Sulan is unique. Action discard and target ship within range 1. Disable up to 2 crew upgrades equipped to the target ship. He'll help you quite well with disrupting an opponent's strategy. And again, you can just spend those mission tokens from your Vidian ET and keep them on the ship. Coven. Coven's from the episode where they are trying to build a new weapon for Voyager, but he may or may not have stole some nanoprobes. So his big effect is he gives you a weapon slot. This is for the isokinetic cannon. And whenever you would place 4 or more, I think it's 3 or more actually, 3 or more time tokens on a weapon upgrade, you place 1 time token on him to disable the weapon instead. This works very well with the isokinetic cannon because that places 4 time tokens. So instead you can just single time token him, disable the weapon, re-enable it later instead of waiting for it to count down. Donick is the last crew member in the pack. He is an errata from the previous release from the Herosian card pack. Can only go on a Herosian battleship, Herosian warship. You cannot be targeted by weapon upgrades fired through secondary arcs. And when defending, this is his errata text, if the defending ship has any question mark upgrades equipped to the ship, roll +1 defense dice, which there are many question mark upgrades that are quite popular nowadays. But thematically, it's against the holograms. We get 2 copies of Life of Piracy, which is the Independent Elite Talent upgrade. Can only go on an independent captain. At setup, this ship may start the game either within range 1 of a planet obstacle or within range of at least 2 non-planet obstacles. This is instead of being in your deployment zone. You also gain the ability based on the printed faction symbol of the captain this card is equipped to. So this means you have to be both an independent as well as Ferengi or Klingon to get these other effects. Now for the Ferengi, it is end phase. You can discard a battle stations token from beside the ship and place 1 gold pressed latinum GPLT token on the captain equipped to the ship. Essentially like a Ferengi buyback, because the Ferengi will spend GPLT to place the battle stations. If you didn't get to use it, or you still got to trigger it and get it back for whatever reason, get rid of it, buy some GPLT, get that back, or early on in the game, you can just take that action and then just get some GPLT for later, so you can generate money before the game even begins. And the Klingon effect, which this will work quite well for the albino, is start of combat phase, you may perform a sensor echo action as a free action, even if you're not cloaked. And it is a full sensor echo action, so it's not restricted to the 1. We've seen this card before, the Vidian Sodality. Just going to show right here. This is what literally lets the Vidian whole mechanic work. You disable discard crew from other ships. You get mission tokens on this card. Those mission tokens protect your crew and your captain. Can obviously only go on a Vidian battle cruiser and be equipped by a Vidian captain. Relics. This is one from one of the previous card packs. Only go on a Herosian captain or admiral. But you gain mission tokens. What is it? During the end phase, as long as you hit, max of 3. And then activation phase, you can spend a mission token to perform an action as a free action. Onto the weapons. So this one is unique to the, it's not a unique weapon. It's restricted to the Narada type starship. It is Tetrion, a particle weapon. 3 points, 4 dice, and it places 2 time tokens on itself. Hit and crit from this attack cannot be modified, re-rolled, or canceled by opposing card effects. So those results don't get removed. That's only card effects, so your actual evade results will work. Isokinetic Cannon, 5.1 per ship, restricted to the forward arc only. Attack value of this weapon is equal to the ship's primary weapon value plus 1. You have to place 4 time tokens on it to use it, but straight up, declare target step. You disable 1 tech upgrade equipped to the defending ship. This is quite nasty. This will mess with a lot of things like, what we got? A lot of the shield upgrades. You have a lot of ablative armor cards, which are tech upgrades. You have the one from the Cardassian weapon card pack. Dispersion armor. You have all kinds of neat stuff. There's also a lot of really good stuff in here that you want to disrupt. But next up we have 2 copies of Targeted Phaser Strike. This is a 1 per ship, primary firing arc only, 2 point, weapon value of 4. Attack. If you have a target lock on the defending ship, place 3 time tokens on this card. Deal damage step. Apply the effect based on which of the defending ship's arcs you're in. If you're in their primary arc, you discard a crew upgrade equipped to the defending ship. If you're in their secondary arc, you discard a weapon upgrade equipped to the defending ship. If you're not in their primary or secondary arc, place an auxiliary power token beside the defending ship. This is supposed to give you some more flexibility when you're actually flying on the table. What we wanted is for you to be rewarded for positioning and lining up those arcs against an enemy starship and being in or out of particular arcs to trigger different effects. It's supposed to just be there, like, I'm targeting the bridge, I'm targeting the weapons, I'm targeting the engines. That's kind of how it is, but it's based off of how you will fly your ship. Next we have 2 copies of Grapplers. Grapplers is generic, is attack value equal to the ship's primary weapon plus 1, attack, 2 time tokens. If the defending ship has no active shields, you may re-roll each of your blanks. If this attack hits, the defending ship cannot perform a maneuver with a speed greater than 1 during the next game round. All for 2 points. This is quite fun and quite nasty on the little NX. For tech, we have unique to the Numeri patrol ship. What restricted to it is 1 per ship, regenerative shielding. This increases your ship's shield value by 1, and end phase, repair a shield. Straight, simple. Adds some extra bulk to that ship. It's going to constantly repair as it gets ready to turn around to come and get you. The one I think is probably like, oh, this might be like one of the best cards in this pack is Refractive Shielding. 4-point independent tech upgrade. 1 per ship. Increase this ship's shield and agility value by 1. And the real moneymaker effect is when defending, if the ship has active shields and the attacking ship within range 2 to 3 does not have any scan tokens that skip the modify attack dice step. That's very nasty. They'll not get to spend their tokens. They're not get to trigger any effects that they have during that part. But you have to keep them outside of range 1 or make sure they do not have any scan tokens. Tau can help you with that. Kuros even. Anything that'll let you steal their tokens off of them will work wonders. Or if you can just ox them down with like the Vertigon Pulse Trap or the Ferengi Photon Torpedoes. Anything like that will help you to get this card to stay triggering and working. But very good. The Translocator. This is a 3-point, 1 per ship tech that is restricted to a independent ship. Action, discards card, target ship within range. Steal a tech or a weapon upgrade equipped to the defending ship. Equip it to your ship, ignoring your ship's restrictions. This just works for the pirates, man. They're going to start picking your ship apart and finding all the good stuff. Stealth mode is a reprint. It is 1 per ship, restricted to a Herosian warship. And straight up lets you do the sensor echo. It's quite fun. Improved deflector screens is also a cleaned up reprint. 4-point tech upgrade, 1 per ship, restricted to a hull of 3 or less. You have to discard if you have no active shields, but as long as you do have active shields, you can cancel a hit or crit. And it is locked to a ship with 3 hull or less, if I did not already say that. But yeah, it's just mainly cleaned up. This had a lot of text on the original one, but a lot of this stuff can be symbols or put in different spots. It's fine. Monotanium armor plating, same thing. This is cleaned up quite well. Basically, you get to roll to avoid target locks. And if that doesn't work, action, you can remove the target locks. It's 1 per ship. On to the holograms. We have Weiss. He is independent. He counts as either a tech or a weapon. This works for a lot of particular cards that we have. But action, disable this card, target an opposing ship within range 1 to 2, disable a crew equipped to the target ship, and place an evade token beside the ship. Lets you keep bulk, disrupt their combos a little bit, and he himself has some combos within this pack. Kajal is another hologram, counts as a tech or crew upgrade. Her ability is action, remove a disabled upgrade token from a question mark upgrade equipped to the ship, and repair 1 hull or shield on this ship. Works well for re-enabling Weiss, repairing the ship. Weiss will be able to do his action later, then add an evade token. Fun stuff. Optronic Data Core from the Herosian card pack. This is an errated version. It's just 1 point less. How this works. Counts as either a weapon or a tech upgrade. Activation phase, place 3 time tokens in this card, perform the action listed on a question mark upgrade equipped to the ship as a free action. So you can do Kajol's action for free, you can do the Doctor's action for free, basically any question mark. The other effect is activation phase, disable this card, remove a disable from a question mark upgrade equipped to the ship. So you could use Kajol's action to remove this one if you want, and then basically it could work like this. Start activation phase, disable this, remove the disable from Weiss, take Kajol's action, remove the disable from this, repair a shield. Then if you want, you can end up using Weiss's action later on and just keep the cycle going over and over again. Photonic Field Generator counts as this one is unique, counts as a weapon or a tech, 2 points, but you may perform actions on question mark upgrades even if you have an Ox. And opposing ships within range 1 to 2 cannot discard or disable other question mark upgrades equipped to the ship. So they have to get rid of this one first. So it gives your holograms a little bit of protection while you're building them up for their combos. Man, why won't this not go in? There we go. So altogether, this will work out quite well. The ship that you should try it on is the Relic Stalker. It's the one that we built to kind of be the hologram ship when you're utilizing them. But there's a lot of neat combos you can do with them because they count as either crew, tech, or weapons. In the case of the last two, you can do something like Sakona, give you a weapon slot, discount your weapons. So use the ones that are weapons, have them reduced by 2 points, make them extra cheap while you're reducing items cost. So you can get quite a lot of a reduction while you're just putting these guys onto your ship. But with Cudgel and Weiss, you'll be able to add bulk and disruption to your build while removing disabled tokens and healing the ship, while just having a base captain skill 10 captain and adding crits against people who have holograms. The last of the cards are just the maneuver cards, which we already went over. So with the Delta Quadrant campaign, some of the changes in this one to the other one are, like we talked about, the sector conditions. I think every single sector condition is entirely different from the other one. The rewards, the base rewards are the same. The advanced rewards are the same because we wanted you to still be able to get either one and play. The planets are unique too, though. In the rules reference section, it'll tell you the rules for every single thing that you'll see in the bold or for the planet specifically or the missions. A lot of the missions are the same between the two, with maybe like the target being different. For example, the distress call mission, I believe we went over. This one is a ship, while I believe in Lost in the Delta Quadrant it is a planet, and a few of the other missions will be strictly different. But other than that, all the actions, all the rules are completely the same. You can utilize either book or both books together. I recommend using both books. You'll get a lot more diversity when you're actually utilizing the planets, especially using the planets and the sector conditions. And obviously, you'll have to adjust the chart, because I know in here they tell you to roll, was it for this one, sector condition, a D8. So you'll have to customize that with the other one. Or you can roll a D8 or roll evens and odds for which chart and then roll out of that one. But that's up to you. Altogether, you'll have to let me know what you guys think after you play through some of the campaign. And if you have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Facebook or comment on the video and I'll answer what I can. And we'll go through some more stuff as more stuff comes out. But yeah, talk to you guys later.